exactly did your kid manage with all this creative stuff going on and a lot of pressure going on? How was she enjoying it, or she's like, "What nonsense is this, Papa, Mama? What are you doing this?"
No, we are fortunate. So both our we have two daughters, and so uh, the elder daughter has just gone to college and she's taken music as a career, right? So she's gone to Berklee College of Music. So they've seen some of this happening at home, sets being rearranged, sofa sets gone here and there, like the house is rearranged. They've seen it before when we done theater acting, so they're used to it. I'm sure that, like all kids, they have their moments of, oh, I was looking forward to a peaceful weekend, playing, watching Netflix or something, and now my parents have moved the sofa all around.
But having said that, they both created themselves. So in Flipside, the poem that you hear at the end is written by my elder one. Oh. And the makeup that you see in Flipside is done by my younger one. So because we are all, in that creative space, so there is something or the other that each family member adds on to the project.
And then in Soulmates, again, both the daughters got involved. So the elder one actually had composed some background score before. And she'd composed some song before, so I took some strains of that, and then I composed some of my own, and we kind of combined her piece and mine. And then the younger one gave us some good thoughts on camera shots, and then she executed it for us. Like the opening scene, like that movement of right in the very opening scene, it kind of sets the tone of, okay, it's a married couple. They were married. They seem to have had a happy married life, and then the door opens, but there's a contrast and all of that. So that was shot by her, for example. So we had a good chance to kind of bring the whole family in together.
Coming to the camera, what camera was used? Because it was like, since daughters, and as you said, you were using it. So what kind of camera was done? Or
may I ask you what camera do you think was used?
And they, most of my friends, even my friends, told that they are using some kind of kit lens with DSLR. But me and Venki were very sure that that might be an Apple phone or something, because the way the panning is happening, we understood, okay, fine, it's not a DSLR because I couldn't see that stagnity. It's not stabilized. It is digitally stabilized. That we understood. But you tell us, what kind of camera is that?
Okay, so your experience shows, and actually, I think you gave more credit than was due. So we entered the category of the mobile phone in this contest.
So there were 3 different categories. We entered the category for India Film Project as the mobile filmmakers.
So the whole film was shot on an iPhone 10 or iPhone 11.
Yeah, but the editing was done on Filmora.
Yeah, and then we used Filmora to edit it. But actually, later when you talked about, I saw your review. You talked about the slow-mo. It was actually the slow-mo function of the iPhone. So that's why you saw the strobing effect.
Yes.
And I saw it too, and I felt maybe it adds to a little bit of the drama of the scene itself, right? So that's why even if I knew how to edit it, I probably would have not edited that out. But I thought it kind of it added to the theme of where we were going next, right, with it. Yeah, but the whole thing was shot on the iPhone.
Flipside is one of the most a confused movie for me, because it was completely talking about domestic violence on women. A lot of a pain was inside the movie, though we didn't review it yet, and I really don't want to give up a lot of story right now. But again, to my other question, Shalima, why do you always show a lot of pain in your movies? Even when it ends, I see a lot of pain. Do you really think that the pain is a connect between you and the film that you're producing, or what? What kind of expression do you want to convey?
I can assure you, no such thing is happening at home.
that is exactly why that is exactly why I was very sure of my words. But then you got my point.
Yes. You've been hinting at it again and again. So I must amply clarify. Please.
No. So the question I've in a way answered earlier as well, that I want to show a successful woman who is doing really well in life, but somewhere has that fragility in her still, which people sometimes refuse to acknowledge. They just look at a couple of ticks that they have as a preconceived notion that, oh, this is great, that is great, great children, great da da da, nice lifestyle. So everything must be fine with her. But what goes on inside closed doors, because of the pressure of the society, she's not able to speak out and share with anyone. B, because there is that pressure of, a certain lifestyle that she's leading and a, great career that she has, she feels like, oh, she has to hide it within her. So through that film, because we noticed there was a rise of domestic violence, especially during COVID, I wanted to reach out to women who are silently suffering, and more so because they were forced to live with their perpetrators since they were in lockdown. They couldn't even escape them. There was no going away to work or, any escape from them. And that's why the numbers increased. So I wanted to sort of reach out to those people to say, ask for help. Don't suffer in silence. It's not strong if you're suffering in silence.
Hey, I'll tell you something. I just, without giving specifics, but both for Flipside and even for Caged, few people reached out to Shalimar and a couple to me saying that really struck a chord.
Yeah.
I've gone through this, or I know someone has gone through this. So like one of my friends reached out to me saying that, hey, I've gone through this problem and I, immediately connected with this, and I had taken help from a counselor, and I'm so glad you're making such films. So I think the idea is to create awareness that these things exist and they could be existing in your neighborhood. Don't turn a blind eye, and if you are a victim, then please speak up, right, and ask for help.
Also, as an actor and a writer, I feel responsible to then make movies that have a meaning, that have a sense of purpose in it. Because for fun, I do a lot of TikToks, and we do a lot of, we've done Players Part 1, Part 2 as fun, easygoing films, which is for entertainment. But if you go to, say, a Netflix or a Hotstar or any of those, platforms, there's a lot of stuff for entertainment. So I wanted to then also do something with a purpose and meaning behind it.
But then somewhere, don't you think you're becoming a brand of this pain and, the same kind of, if you can understand, I mean, the same kind of.
Of course, I understand, because my father, he was very disturbed watching these movies, he's like, oh, you shouldn't be doing all this, So I said, Papa, this is as an actor, right? I mean, our lives are by God's grace good. So he's like, but people don't know. That was the cutest comment coming from a dad, that people don't know, what your lives are, who don't know you. And then they will see this and they will think this is it. So I'm like, but those people I don't know and they don't know me. They just see me as an actor, and that's totally fine. So in a way, that was also a compliment that, oh, the job's well done and they don't know you're not this.
Yeah. So I mean, look, we've done our share of light and fun films as well. Like, so we created something called Players 1 and Players 2 about a husband-wife couple. And
yeah, so we'll actually send those links to you for you to review those as well.
Yes.
Take a look at those as well. So you can see the other side of
There's no pain in that at all.
Okay, I forgot. My father was very keen to tell you this, Himanshuji, that he really loved your smile at the end of Soulmates, where this person is like, okay, she's gone. Now I can live my life in peace. And he comes with a very crooked criminal smile. And he was very happy to see you, so happy that your wife is dead.
I had to practice a lot for that. It did not come naturally.
So what was your reaction, Shalimar, when you saw that smile?
Oh, I was like, that was the last shot, right? So I was like, okay, get it over with. We have to start editing.
Oh, yeah. So actually,
so I was like, just do it, in 1-2 shots and let's start editing. So I wasn't even thinking, oh, he's behaving like this because this or that or whatever,
So time constraint really helped you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it does actually I guess, yeah, it focuses your attention on sort of do your best in that moment.
Yeah.
So, how was the genre selected? Like, it was like previously it was the first film which you did was kind of a businesswoman thing, and then it came with a genre of a horror mystery concept, and how that switch happened when it came to flip side, or what kind of genre you thought, okay, next movie will be like this, or why don't we try this kind of genre? Was that any thought process on that?
So when we did Caged and Flipside, I wanted to address those two, issues, and so that's how I wrote the story about it. But when it came to Soulmates, we had to get a topic from IFT, and once they sent the topic, we were given two choices: drama or comedy. So I was, going more towards comedy, but he was like, no, let's do drama, right? Because comedy is so tough, and within that the limited time to be able to write a script which is that rip tickling, was a challenge. Also, he had probably some idea around it, this script, overnight. So next morning he was like, okay, comedy is out of the box, we are doing this.
The theme they gave us on Friday night, which was revealed, was stop at nothing. So they gave these three words: stop at nothing, and then you had to go make a film, comedy or drama around it. So in the morning, like I said, I woke up with some kind of 50-60% idea about, okay, a husband and a wife would stop at nothing, and where would that go if they were not getting along? And so it came from there, and the ending scene was actually somehow came to the mind first. So quite early on. So that suddenly the beginning and ending was clear, and then the rest of it kind of we plotted together. So
in a way, players, when you review that, that's comedy. So it's like social message comedy, and then this, I wouldn't call it horror, but suspense. So we've kind of covered all those genres. Let's see, what do we do next?
When I see Shalimar, you completely concentrate on urbanizing your movies. Why not any other pattern of making movie? Why do you completely concentrate on urban women?
That's a good point, and I would love to show a Indian woman in the village, but we don't have that here, right? So we are in Singapore, and then to have something which is very Indianized or not urban would be a challenge, but I'll take that up. So maybe with that thought that you've planted in my head, maybe the next story we do is not of an urban woman. Maybe it'll be completely different.
Before we end, we wanted to understand what is that one thing that you want to tell all our YouTube filmmakers, indie filmmakers, or short filmmakers. What is that one thing that you want to convey them?
So I'd say that if you have a story and if you have a passion for telling that story, just go ahead and do it. Don't wait for the right time, the right equipment, the right this, the right that, because then you just keep waiting. So, if an idea comes and you have things going on, just go ahead and do it. That's my advice. What about you?
No, actually, I would exactly echo those words. I would just say, yeah, just do it. If you have, and now the technology exists, YouTube exists, we can. So, and we're also honing our skills with every movie we're learning. A lot of the feedback you all give really helps us.
Right.
So we thank you as well for that. Don't, like Shalimar said, don't wait to get it too perfect. It's a journey, right? So keep at it, and that's how I think any great actor or director has actually gone through the same evolution.
That's great. So what can we expect from you in coming days? What are your projects?
We were thinking of doing a rural.
No, so we've already shot a short film. It's called Put a Ring on It. And it's part of the 5 short films that we will be producing as Timeless Tales Film Edition. And that's going to showcase in Cinema Hall in Singapore. And maybe later on some OTT platform. So the particular film that we both have shot, which again I've written and he's directed, is called Put a Ring on It.
together with her.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was okay. So another soulmates?
No.
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 This is good soulmates.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. You have spent so much time for us. I know how busy you are, and yet you gave us some time, and we are very thankful for you. So that was Himanshu and Shalima, the great filmmakers. Loud to see more of your work, and hopefully you get a lot of awards, rewards, and more
Hey,
movies.
thank you.
Thank you.
We pray for all your.
So I would like to say something, and then I'll let Sharima conclude. I want to thank both of you and all your audience and all the team behind you for giving so much time, looking at what we're doing, giving us, very positive encouragement and giving us some suggestions to improve on. Really appreciate your time, effort, and thought into all of this. And I thank you so much for the time you spent on this interview.
Absolutely. I echo the same words. I've been chasing Uday. Okay, that film is still left for you to review and this and that. And he's been very patient through all of that. And then he came up with this idea of interview as well. So thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to this episode. It's going to be shared across all platforms in Singapore for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
We'll meet.
All right.
Thank you.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.